What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Christian Minute Podcast, where we encourage the believer, strengthen the leader, and inspire the achiever. My name's Devan Caswell. If we haven't met before, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a vlogger, and I run this podcast just for you guys. Today's topic is on grief and how to process our feelings, sit in our feelings, and find freedom and healing in the midst of that. This is a message you guys don't want to miss. I want you to understand that there's a proper way to grieve. That because we overlook grief so much, it's almost like this thing we try to avoid, right? When a lot of us experience a loss of a family member or a friend, the first thing we do is it's almost like we bury them and we move on. And we continue going to school the next day. We continue going to work, and life goes on. And life does go on. But I want you guys to sit in your feelings, to process what's happening, and to truly sit in that. Because it says, for godly grief produces a repentance that leads to salvation without regret, whereas worldly grief produces death. Worldly grief, grief that can lead you to anger and destruction and death. This is grief that can turn evil if not monitored correctly. But good grief, godly grief, is just sitting in your feelings, having that moment with God, giving your feelings to God and just saying, God, this is how I'm feeling. Help me. God, what do you think about this situation? Guide me in this situation. I'm hurt. I need you. And I found it very interesting while I was studying grief. And in the Jewish culture, in Judaism, they have this, it's called 12 months of grief. That's a long time. To us, that sounds ridiculous. Like 12 months of sitting in our feelings. Like that sounds like a lot. And it's called Shiva. And so the Shiva is the first 7 days of mourning. So when someone dies, they have Shiva, which is the first 7 days. And basically what Shiva is you stay in your house and you don't work. You don't go to school. You don't do anything. You sit in your house and you process your feelings. And you have visitors. You have people that come and visit you. They bring you snacks. They bring you flowers. They bring you whatever as comfort. But the point is that they make time to sit in that. And then the months after that, they start going back to work. This section of time is called Shaloshim. And it's basically like a time where they go back to work, but they're still cut back from work. They're only working kind of half days. It's slow. And they do this for months. And they're taking their time. They're easing back into it. And then they're in the next phase called Shodesh, which is they're finally back to work, but they have a day out of the week where they still sit in their feelings and remember the person that they lost. You guys see how long of a process this is? See, in America, we bury the body and we continue on with our lives as if nothing happened. And it's almost like, yeah, I'm strong because I can do that. I'm strong because I can continue on with life and not sit in my feelings. And I want to tell you, strength is not stuffing your feelings. Strength is meeting your feelings at where they stand. And so I want you guys to begin to face your feelings and to be comfortable with that. Because what I see in a lot of you is a lot of buried feelings, unprocessed feelings. And I can see as I'm talking that some of you are trying to think of what those are. And so I have more to share, but I kind of want to take a moment. Anise, if you could come up here real quick, just to share the 5 words that it takes to lament. So what lamenting is, some of you probably haven't heard that word before, but lament is to feel or express sorrow or regret. To lament his absence, to mourn for a time. So to feel, express sorrow or regret. So Anise is going to share 5 words with you. 4 or 5 words, I don't remember, but I heard it at a leadership meeting and I loved it. And so I want to share it with you guys. And so when she shares these words with you, I want the one that sticks to you, and I want you to tie it to what you've been going through these past weeks, this past year, the years prior, whatever that wound is, whatever that source of whatever the word she's about to say is, I want you guys to sit and I want you guys to process these words. And I want you guys to be open and to share how you feel. So go ahead.
I didn't know I was doing this, so I have to remember. But 3 that I know is tender. So tender can be like when you cut yourself and you feel like the tenderness of the wound, or like you have a bruise and you touch it and it hurts. What is that feeling of tenderness? Where does that come from? That's one. Sadness is another one. We all know sadness. Anger. I can't remember the other 2.
Sadness, anger, tenderness. There was a few. Yeah.
3 out of 5. Almost there. Yeah, but practically what we did at that leadership meeting is we looked at these words, and it was the 3 that I just said, and then we shared, or we thought about what events in our life have been causing those feelings. So one of the things that I shared, my grandma passed away like 3 weeks ago, and so there's sadness and there's also anger in that, because she's in Mexico and I'm here, and Corona, like we can't travel, and my parents not being able to go and be with their family, and so there's sadness in that because my grandma's gone, but there's also anger because I wish that the things were different. And so there can be small moments like that cause those feelings that sometimes we don't even realize. I didn't realize, I realized I was sad about my grandma, but I didn't realize I was angry about the situation. And so when you sit in that, like Devan is saying, you realize that there's more feelings. It's not like, oh, I'm sad, like I failed my math test, but it's like, okay, what are the feelings behind that? Do I feel like I'm not good enough? Do I feel like I could have done better? Do I feel like I'm not gonna get the approval of my friends or my family? There always is more than just the initial feeling of reaction that you experience. So those are 3 words. Devan can find out, or I can find out the other 2 that can help you process those events in your life and that kind of spark. And it doesn't have to be just those 5 words. I mean, there's so many other words for you to describe what you're feeling, but those are the 5 core that can lead you to think about what other feelings you're experiencing. So.
Guys, that's my best friend. All right. So I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes of Jesus time. So I want you guys to find your corner in the room, wherever it is. It can be anywhere. And I want you guys to have a moment with Jesus, with what we just talked about, with the words we just shared with you. And we're going to come back together, and we're going to share.